All right, everybody, welcome to Survive to Thrive. I am John Dietz, speaker, trainer, coach, team builder, and super glad you're here. To all of my faithful that are in Zoom with me, love you guys. To anyone that's listening out there on YouTube, love you as well. Would love to chat with you. Reach out to me. All right, we're going to be talking on the shift today. We're in a market shift. All right, now depending on where you live, and we've got real estate agents on this call from South Florida to Los Angeles. And the market's shifting here. I live in the Tampa Bay area in Florida, and we're seeing days on market go from an average of less than 30 days to 60 to 70 days on market on average. We're seeing listings sit with no showings and no offers. These are all signs of a shift. And what got me through the shift back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 was this book. It was my playbook to get through that shift. So if you haven't read this, if you don't have a copy of it, Get Shift by Gary Keller. It's a great book. I'm going to go through each of the tactics with you. Now there's 11, and I'm going to skip a couple because they don't really apply any longer, but I'll speak on the ones that do. We might not get through all 11, but let's go and see, and let's see, right? All right, tactic number 1, get real, get right. So when the market shifts, your mindset needs to shift. The way you did business 6 months ago isn't going to work today. The way you did business a year ago certainly isn't going to work today. There are fewer people buying and selling. And there are still 1.4, 1.5 million real estate agents as members with NAR. Now, I heard recently that 100,000 have gotten out in 2023. Okay, there's still a whole bunch of real estate agents, and there's not as many properties being sold. We're tracking about 4.1 million homes sold in 2023. Just for perspective, that was 6.2 million in 2021. Fewer homes are being sold. Now, you got to get right. You cannot keep your head buried in the sand and say everything's going to be okay. And I'm not saying everything's not going to be okay, so don't hear that. As a real estate agent, you want the market to shift because we're now in a skill-based market. Please write that down. You went from an order-taking real estate market to being in a skill-based market. In other words, those of you who have developed the skills, you've mastered your craft, you're not only going to survive the market shift, you're going to thrive in the market shift. And it starts here. It starts with a mindset shift. Part of your mindset shift needs to go from I'm getting my fair share to getting my unfair share. Please write that down. I don't know where this whole fair share thing ever came from. You should be looking to get your unfair share. Look, if I invite 10 of you over to my house for pizza and we order 2 large pizzas, 20 slices, everybody gets 2. Now, the delivery driver screws up the order and only delivers 1. 10 slices, 10 of us. Each person gets 1 slice, right? No. I'm still getting my 2. All of you can figure out the rest. Now, that's the mindset that I want you to have as a real estate agent. What's your goal? If your goal is to list 3 homes a month, does it change because the market changed? If your goal is to sell 4 homes a month, does it change because the market changed? Now, you can have reasons or results. And as a real estate coach, I talk to real estate agents every day who will tell me, my sales are down. I can't find any listings. It's the market. And my response to them is, it's not the market, it's you. I was playing golf, Nathan, I was playing golf with a buddy last week. And, he was complaining. And finally, I said, look, there's no complaining on the golf course. Anybody who plays golf with me, they know one of my rules is no complaining, no negativity. I said, you're complaining about the course. The course ain't the reason you suck. You suck. It's not the golf course. He didn't like that. You can have reasons or results. Now, if you're not hitting your goals, it's not the market's fault, it's your fault. Now, before you click that button and get off the video, listen to me. If it's your fault, that's good news because you can do something about that. If it's the market's fault, what are you going to do about that?
Nothing.
There you go. I knew I liked you. All right. Tactic number 2, remargin your business, expense management. I want you to write down everything you're spending money on in your business and in your personal life. I want you to write down everything you're spending money on. I want you to put it into 3 groups. The first group is these are things that you have to have, like your mortgage payment and rent. You can't stop paying that. All right. I want you to write down a list of everything that you spend money on that you can't eliminate. Then the second list is going to be things that you spend money on that you like, that you would like to have. Like ESPN Plus, Nathan. You know, you were talking about ESPN the other day. I don't spend a whole lot of time on ESPN because I haven't spent the money to plus the account. So I don't get to read any of the articles. I'm like, doggone it, I really want to read that. But there's a little plus sign there, which means you got to spend money to read this, John. Nope, not doing that. So things you would like to have, but you could do without. And then everything that goes in the third list is you have no idea what that is. You're looking at all the money that you're spending and you've got all of these different apps that you pay for and you're like, I don't know what that is. I haven't looked at that in a year. I don't know what that is either. All right, and what you're going to do is you're going to eliminate everything in that third group. Eliminate it. Just cancel it today. Mm-hmm. Now, everything that's in that second group, the things that you would like to have but don't have to have, it's up to you. But I would eliminate everything in that group as well. The way a shift works, let me explain this. The way a shift works is we're all treading water, okay? The boat capsized. Well, we got life jackets on, thank God. No, we don't. Maybe we do. And no, we don't. And we're all treading water. Now, whoever treads water the longest wins. Your job is to tread water until you make it to shore. Your job is to survive this shift. And one of the ways you're going to do that is by lowering your expenses. So eliminate everything in category 2. In your personal life and in your business life. If you're spending money for leads and you can't justify it with a 10-time return. Now make sure you heard me. If you're spending $1,000 a month on leads, $12,000 a year, and you're not getting $120,000 back, cancel it. Your job is to get as lean as you can possibly get in order to survive a shift. All right, tactic number 3, do more with less, leverage. This goes back to the 80-20 rule, Nathan, that we were talking about a couple days ago. Everything that is not in your 20%, you should be looking at those things and asking yourself, what can I leverage? So for example, for those of you who are not using a closing coordinator, a transaction coordinator, and the cost, depending on where you live, is $300 to $600 per closing. All right. Now, I just told you to stop spending money, so pay attention. If you're spending 3, 4, 5 hours cumulative on closing that transaction, you spent, okay, so you spent three hours, and your valuable time, when you're sitting on a listing appointment, that's valuable time. When you are lead generating, that is valuable time. When you're going on appointments, writing offers, negotiating contracts, all valuable time. Now, if your valuable time is $200 an hour and you spent 4 hours cumulative closing that sale, and you could have hired a transaction coordinator for $300, you spent $800 because your valuable time is $800 for the amount of time that it took, when you could have only spent $300 and used the additional time to go find more sales. If you're sitting down at the computer and entering listings into the MLS and you can hire somebody to do that, Your time is worth more lead generating than it is inputting a listing into the MLS. So do more with less. Look for areas where you can leverage. Tactic number 4, lead generation. Double down. Take the number of hours that you were spending in lead generation 6 months ago and double it. Take the number of people that you were talking to 6 months ago and double it. If lead generation 6 months ago was 2 hours of lead generation, talking to 10 people or 20 people, lead generation today is 4 hours and talking to 40 people. You have to double down on lead generation in order to survive this shift. You're looking for the motivated. That takes us to tactic number 5, lead conversion. You are looking for the motivated. The cause and challenge of a shift is motivation. Fewer people are motivated to buy, fewer people are motivated to sell. And your challenge as a real estate agent, your job as a real estate agent is to find the motivated. What is the motivated? People who are ready, willing, and able to sell right now. People who are ready, willing, and able to buy right now. Now, they could be ready and willing and not able. That doesn't qualify. They could be ready and able, but not willing. In other words, you got a buyer who insists on lowballing every property they look at, and their expectation, because you've asked them, you did a buyer consultation with them, and you said, what needs to happen for you to feel the experience was a 10? And they tell you, I'm looking for a great deal. And you ask them, what does a great deal look like to you? If I can get the property at 80% of market value or 90% of market value, that would be a great deal. Well, if that ain't realistic and it's not going to happen, that person's not motivated. They're motivated if they can find a property they're going to steal. Otherwise, they're not. You know, as a real estate agent, when I was talking to clients and they would tell me, I'm looking for a great deal. And I'd ask them, what does that look like? And they defined it. My response to them was, well, if I find that property, I'm buying it. Anybody have a problem with that?
I heard that.
If I can find a seller who's willing to sell at 80% of asking price or 80% of market value,
you won't know.
I'm buying that house. As soon as I hear the word investor, I'm going down a bunny trail here, so bunny trail alert. As soon as I hear the word investor when I'm talking to somebody, red lights go up, red flags go up. I'm like, ugh. All right, investor equals writing 50 offers to hopefully get one accepted. No, thank you. 3 things happen when I meet with a potential client. Either they hire me, which is great, or they don't hire me, which isn't so great, or I may choose not to work with them. Well, I'm choosing not to work with this person. I'm looking for the motivated. Motivated means they're willing to pay market value in order to get the house. Even in a shift, if the property is priced at market value, it's priced at $400,000. It ain't selling for $300,000. It's not even selling for $350,000. As a buyer, if they've got the property priced right, you need to be ready to offer $400,000. And if you're not, I'm not your agent. All right. Number 7, price ahead of the market. We're going to wrap up on this one. All right. So if you looked at the real estate market in the last 3 years, it was doing this. Okay, prices were going up because there was a shortage of inventory. And because there was a shortage of inventory and there were a surplus of buyers, then you had buyers that were bidding. You had 5 buyers for every 1 seller. All right. And when that happens, buyers are bidding the price up. All right. There's no top. When the market is going up, there is no top. Number 6, I skipped it because it doesn't really apply anymore. Read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, so when the market's going up, there's no top. And a buyer will just keep offering more and more and more and more. And that's what drives prices up. Now, as the market shifts and you start to see listings on the market for an average of 60 days, 70 days, 80 days, well, the market's not doing this anymore, guys. It's plateaued, and eventually it's going to start doing this. Now, if you're at that point where the prices are starting to drop, pricing ahead of the market means this, as clear as I can possibly make it. Market value is 500. The comparables say the home is worth 500,000. An appraiser would appraise the value at 500,000. I'm listing that property at 490. I'm pricing ahead of the market. If you look at that like this, okay, this is where we are. I'm pricing it here because that's where the market's going. That's what you have to do in order to sell your home. When you put your home on the market, there's this bank of buyers. Let's say there's 4 or 5 buyers that are looking for homes like yours. And when a new home hits the market, it immediately attracts buyers and it attracts real estate agents who are working with buyers. Now they're going to look at your home and they're going to make an immediate snap judgment based on price. And if they feel that your home is not a good deal, because buyers in a shifting market are not looking for market value, they're looking for a good deal. Now, again, a good deal doesn't mean 80% of market value. A good deal is maybe 90, 94, 95, 96, 97% of market value. But it's got 490 when market value is 500. That's a good deal. All right. That's what they're looking for. And if it's priced above that, it's going to get judged as being overpriced and it's going to be overlooked. And then what ends up happening is the seller ends up chasing the market down. They reduce their price. The price is going down faster than they're reducing their price. And they end up either not selling their home, they're still in it 6 months from now and it's worth less, or they chase the market down to a price that's lower than they could have got in the first 30 days. Now, as a real estate agent, you need to master 3 things in order to be able to master price ahead of the market. Observation. You need to be able to observe the data, and you need to be able to explain what that data is telling you. The next, you need to master making a forecast. The forecast simply means this is where the market's going based on the data that I'm currently looking at. The third thing that you need to master is the art of persuasion. In other words, when you're sitting down at that kitchen table, you've got to master this conversation in order to help your client see the right strategy in order to get their home sold. All right, guys, we'll pick up on the others next week. Talk to me. Ask me any questions.
I have a question.
Talk to me.
Okay. On observing that data, what's your advice on that? I mean, how I go about that?
All right, so I've got a
Market data.
property. It's in a subdivision, homes in that. So I'm looking at all the comparables in that subdivision that sold in the last 6 months. First of all, I want to know, is it comparable? All right. I'm looking at when it sold. If it sold 90 days ago versus last week, that I'm going to make an adjustment for that. I'm also going to look at how many homes are currently on the market in the area in that same price range. All right. So if my target, if my subject property is somewhere around 430, 440, I'm looking at everything between 400 and 450. How many active listings are there within a 2 to 3 mile radius of that property? What's the average days on market for those active listings? Is it creeping up? In other words, what are the days on market today versus 6 months ago? How many properties are currently under contract? What's the difference in days on market for the homes that are under contract versus the homes that are currently active? All of these numbers are telling a story. Real estate business is nothing but a math equation. All right. So, Samin, I'm looking at active listings within a 2-3 mile radius within a price range. I'm looking at properties under contract. I'm looking at the ones that sold. And I'm asking myself, why did these sell and these other properties haven't sold.
Thank you.
My pleasure, my friend. All right, anybody else? All right, I'm going to jump off the recording real quick here, guys. Just hang on because I'm hanging with you, I promise. Thanks for joining us. For those of you who are watching YouTube, if you want to be a part of this group, reach out to me. My contact information is below. I'm John Dietz. Make it a great day.